Hello everyone. Have you ever wondered why electricity is so unpredictable and unstable? Well, today you might just have the answer. With me is the CEO of Schneider Electric, and she's going to talk to us about Electricity 4.0. So, Carol, welcome.
Thank you.
Now, can you tell us what on earth is Electricity 4.0?
So, Electricity 4.4 really is the convergence of the digital and the electric world at scale. It is actually the fastest route to having a clean, smarter, and more efficient and reliable energy.
Okay.
Many people are actually familiar with Industry 4.4, 4.0. What we try to set out is really that this evolution has been going on for more than 250 years, and the evolution at industry and electricity are almost at the same level. So we are now at Electricity 4.4 era. 4.0, I keep saying that.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep saying 4.0, so maybe I just inspired you.
Yes.
So, well, as Schneider, you seem to be at the forefront of Electricity 4.0. So, who are some of your collaborators? Who do you work with?
So, Schneider Electric is an energy management and an industrial automation organization. And globally, we spend 5% of our turnover in R&D. So we collaborate with a lot of people, and our solutions, especially on the digital space, are innovated with partners, the big names that you know, but also very small organizations. And the way we deploy our solutions to market is largely through a network of partners, and we also have we co-create a lot of our solutions with entrepreneurs. We co-create with big companies, and also internally we have large R&D teams.
So where does renewable energy fit in this equation?
So if you think about electricity, we look at electricity across the board. So, and electricity is generated from different sources. There are the non-renewable sources and also the renewable sources. So here we are looking at the end-to-end. But really, renewable energy is probably the reason why we are moving towards a more sustainable world. So if you think about carbon emissions, today, 80% of the world carbon emissions is related to energy and energy generation and consumption. Of course, renewable energy and the mix in terms of energy generation is shifting, moving more from non-renewable to renewable sources. And so, of course, renewable energy is still a source of electricity. And that's how we see Electricity 4.0 becoming the reason why the world will become more sustainable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why is it that when power goes out, it takes so long for it to be fixed? Like I have to call, I have to wait. Can they just figure out that this place doesn't have power and then they can fix it from wherever they are remotely?
So really, a lot of grids have the opportunity to do that. So they have an opportunity to what we call to have a smart grid. And a smart grid is a grid that then will be able to know what is happening in the network. And whenever there's an outage, then they can already know there's an outage in a certain location. Depending on the nature of the outage, if it can be done remotely to fix it, they will do it, but also then they will be able to know and send a crew to come and fix it. Today, most of the grids in our region are not necessarily smart, and therefore you have to call because they are not able to see that there's an outage in that location.
That's a pity. That would fix it much faster.
It is an evolution, and some of the developed world grid companies have already moved into the smart grid. It's an evolution that we are seeing in the grid space.
Okay. So why is Schneider so open to transformation when it comes to this? What is it that makes your company so open-minded and thinking about the future?
So because really, if you think about sustainability, for us, it's very key and core to our strategy. So we believe that we can change the way we look at energy, and more importantly, the way we use it. So we want to help companies to manage their energy better. We want them to use it more efficiently because the resources are scarce. We know that the energy resources, when generated, needs to be used efficiently. So we look at it from our care for the climate and saying, guys, energy already is 80% of carbon emissions. How can we together reduce this and save the climate and the world?
Do people listen to that?
I think they do, because we see a significant growth in some of our sustainability discussions and also generally in our business, where we are helping companies not only to save money but also to save the environment.
So do you think that this is going to make electricity more affordable for people? Because it's quite expensive.
So really, if you think about electricity 4.0, over the long run, depending on the sources of electricity and how smart the grid is and the losses that are generated in the grid, if you put digital together, you'll be able to deliver that electricity in a more efficient manner. And largely then those savings will translate to more affordable electricity to the consumer.
Okay. So then when it comes to preparing for the future, do you think that this electricity 4.0, is it a revolution or is it a fad? Is it something that's just happening for us brief time and then we will see it disappear and another trend comes up?
You know, if you look at the evolution of digital especially, I think it can only move towards that direction. Now, we really are at the beginning stages of converging digital in all aspects of our lives. So today, we have the concept of IoT, things are speaking to each other. We see that this is an evolution that probably will move to other technologies, but in this direction. As to whether, I can tell you it's a reality, it's not a fad, because it's already applicable, it's practical. As I shared with you, there are already smart grids, there are smart companies, there are smart processes. So convergence of digital and electricity is here with us. The name is Electricity 4.0. I mean, just like the evolution has happened over the last 250 years, we're certain that there will be an evolution again in the next couple of years coming up.
Okay. So what does a world that has digitized electricity actually look like? What does it look like from the perspective of the consumer?
So, so from a consumer perspective, a digitized, let's say an Electricity 4.0 world means that you're making the right decisions in your energy uses because you have data that helps you. So let's say you have, let's use an example of an industry. If you're running a process and you know that in my process, this particular area of the factory, for example, is consuming a lot of power, you understand why and you take actions to reduce that consumption. This is just an example. So it really, for a consumer, it helps you to be empowered with knowledge and information and therefore take actions that help you to either save cost or also save the environment.
So this basically means that the prosumer, which is a consumer who has a lot of knowledge and information, this is actually a good thing for you. You want a consumer who is aware of electricity and how they use it.
You know, the way we see prosumers from our perspective is people who produce and consume energy at the same time. So let's say, if you look at most of the, and we see this in Kenya specifically, a number of big power consumers are also becoming producers of their own power consumption. So they're putting solar panels on their rooftops and generating power when the sun is up, and then using that power at the same time as they generate, and therefore reducing their electricity bill. So these prosumers already have understood that they need to take, so on top of producing their own electricity, they're also producing renewable electricity, which means they're saving the environment. So this convergence is a trend that we see is going to evolve. It probably is going to be, for the future, really, what we consider as how the future is going to be, because traditionally electricity was generated in bulk in one big power station and then distributed. Now we've seen the emergence of the prosumers. It's still not yet fully, I would say they're still connected to the grid, but in other places we see actually people producing and consuming their electricity in a isolated grid. Sometimes we call this mini grids or microgrids, depending on the size.
Okay, and how many people actually have access to electricity?
I can tell you how many people don't have access. It depends on the statistics, but we see globally the numbers shift between 1 billion. Sometimes it's slightly less, depending on the the source. And we see that number, 70% are in sub-Saharan Africa. So we know that access to electricity and energy in general is still very low in sub-Saharan Africa. In Kenya, we've seen the government driving the energy access through the rural electrification programs and the last mile connectivity. But there are still many people who don't have access to electricity.
Is there a connection between not having electricity and poverty?
In many cases, that is true, but also the grid not being available. So there are people who could afford to pay, but they don't have access to the grid by virtue of the location they're in. So, but it is largely linked to poverty as well.
Okay. So how does electricity generate data in this format?
So it's not electricity generating data. It is trying to understand how your electricity is flowing through, for example, your distribution network or your transmission network, by ensuring that you're collecting data about the behavior of your electricity, and then therefore taking decisions coming out of that data to either drive some action, put some efficient process, whatever it is. So it's not, so you're collecting data to understand the behavior of the electricity and therefore take action.
What are some of the interesting things your data has shown you?
So let's say we help customers to do that. And some of the interesting things, for example, is to understand that why do I have a big power consumption? So I put meters in different parts of my process, and then I discover in this particular part my energy consumption is high because I have a motor that is taking a lot of reactive power. So I need to put a power factor correction bank, for example. So those are some of the things that customers would find when they meter at the different loads that they consume electricity.
You know, that makes me curious about how much the electricity is generated by my TV, by my kettle. Why does it end up becoming so expensive? What makes it expensive?
I mean, it's really about how you're using your electricity. How efficient are your loads, and maybe as you buy those gadgets or devices in your house, really understanding what is the consumption of this device. Are you just buying a kettle, or are you checking if it's a 1,000-watt kettle, or is it a 2,000-watt kettle? Do you look at that when you're buying, or you just buy a kettle?
Just buy.
Yeah, so now you can actually go and understand how your devices are consuming your power. When you buy a TV, do you check how is it consuming power? Are you buying the most efficient? I mean, the manufacturers of most of the devices are all moving towards having more efficient devices, products. When you're buying, are you paying attention to that, to the energy efficiency?
Okay. So what's the most remarkable thing that you've learned about Electricity 4.0, just for yourself as Carol?
I think for me, I have learned that Electricity 4.0 can revolutionize the way we look at climate, because if we use energy efficiently, then we can save the climate. For me, connecting the dots and knowing that it is affecting the world I live in has been the greatest learning.
Well, that's what I've learned so far as well.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you've definitely heard it from the best. That TV and that kettle that you're buying, you better take a second look at it, because you never know how it's affecting the climate. So, Carol, thank you so much. That was absolutely enlightening. I loved the conversation, and it was a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having me.